I'm WG, and it's time we talk about something that is integral to you knowing if it's a good piece of equipment, bad piece of equipment, good epiphany, good partner, bad partner, and that is the difference between multiplicative and additive damage increases, how to tell, and why it's so important. Welcome to my TED Talk about multipliers in Chaos Zero Nightmare. First off, how do you tell the difference? Please look at the red circuits. So, it is super simple. It's been in front of our eyes for quite a while, but now also through recent dev notes and the like, the devs have confirmed it. And that is, so long as it says plus, then a percentage, it is additive. And so long as it says by, and then a percentage, it is multiplicative. So, super simple example, let's just make it super clear. Plus 60%, so additive on top. Multiplicative by 50%. Alright? Now, why is that so important? Let's have a look at this example right here. In both cases, we have a base multiplier of 57%, and we're once going to add 20% on top, additive, and 20% multiplicative. So for the first here, it's very simple. 57 plus 20, 77. It's a 4-hitter, 77 times 4, 308%. Multiplicative, 20% of 57. So that is going to be 11.4. You add 11.4, it makes 68.4 times 4 because it's a 4-hitter. And you have a damage difference of 35%. So that is additive versus multiplicative in a, for example, multi-hit scenario. And now let's have a look at scenario number 2. We have a base multiplier of 252%. At the top we add 20, making it 277. It's a 2-hitter, so it's going to be 514. Now, same thing, it's a 257 base by 20%, so plus 20% of 257, meaning 308.4, 2-hitter, 616. It's a 100% damage difference. Very, very important. Now, next up, general rules, okay, people? Multi-hits or cards with a low base multiplier, with anything lower than 100%, generally benefit the most from additive multipliers. Multipliers that are above 100%, above 150, above 200, above 300 massively benefit from a multiplicative increase, and it only gets more and more the higher the base value. So the higher the base, the bigger the impact for a multiplier, and that is also because multiplicative damage increases only go to the base. So if, for example, simple example, right, we add 100% additive on top, making it 436, we are still only going to be multiplying the 336. So these are the general rules, and now let's talk about the biggest beneficiaries from that, and also let's do a little bit of glazing. First off, Orlea, very important. Some of you still haven't realized it, but not only does she have the only multiplicative damage increase buff in the game, or damage debuff, and that is vulnerable. Vulnerable increases the final hit damage by 50%, meaning if you do 1,000 damage, if you have vulnerable applied, you deal 1,500 damage. And that is on just, for example, one skill, the growing creature. And then to top it all off, look at this. Increases damage amount of the next attack card used by 20%. Multiplicative for every retain of a softie, which you can trigger multiple times through multiple ways, or just stack it up until you use an attack card. This can get to like 200%. And then on top, if you play the card yourself, it's another 35% increase, and this time for the whole turn rather than just the next attack card used. So Orlea has access to all, or just over 3 multiplicative multipliers, making her the best damage booster in the entire game if you have the proper setup. This is very, very important. Next up, we have Ray. Now, Ray, let's start with Predator's Blade. Predator's Blade is a multi-hit's best friend. You use the attack, you add 80%, 4 times 20, because you get morale stacks being additive, 80% to whatever. So if the base is 57, now it's 137. The same is true for Resonating Darkness. Resonating Darkness is a 40% additive to all cards costing 1, obviously with different epiphanies. Now here, Strike of Darkness is a multiplicative 100% increase. So for all of you that are playing Mei Lin, how about you give Rey Mei Lin a chance with the 100% damage increase to basic attacks? Can go as high as 150 multiplicative. And then also we have the Dark Condensation. Choose an attack card in hand plus 100%. Goes up to plus 150. Add that to a 57% multiplier. Boom, you're at 200%. And also look at this. Raise E6 is a multiplicative 20% damage increase to all allies attack card damage. Very crucial, very important. Then also right here, one of the reasons why you could be bricking yourself with Yuki. This card decreases the damage by 20%, not negative 20% additional. But let's, for example, say you have a card that deals 200% damage. You're not taking away 20%. No, you're taking away 40%. It goes from 200 down to just 160. Whereas this, for example, even though it's only retain and it doesn't draw you 2 cards, it's a 40% multiplicative increase. That means you go from a 200% to a 280% damage multiplier. And then also equipment. So, a lot of people were glazing Amorphous Cube. Look at this. It is additive. Really good for multi-hitters. Not that important if you have big numbers. On the other hand, Obsidian Sword. 12% increase. Really good for high multipliers. Not as good for low multipliers. Like, again, 50%. All of a sudden, this is only like what, plus 5 point whatever percent, whereas this is plus 25. Or if you have like a 200% multiplier, all of a sudden this is plus 25, this is plus 25. Basically same thing. The same is also true between Replica Core. When drawing your own attack card, increases that card's damage by plus 50. Plus 50. It's additional. So if it's 200, it goes to 250. Dopamine Injector. If you draw a card by 20, if it's 200, it goes by plus 40%. Or it can stack twice. Draw 2 cards, all of a sudden, it goes from 200 to 280%. Same is true for the Chimera Knight. It's only plus, but it is for all attack cards, right? You add 35 to all attack cards. That's the difference here. This is higher at 50 when drawing your own attack card, but only for the card drawn. This is 35% whenever you draw for all attack cards for the turn. Same with the Emblem of Exception Entity. Looks great on paper. What, plus 30%? That's crazy. Isn't as crazy unless you're running a bunch of tiny multi-mega hits, right? Multi-hits way more efficient. On bigger hits, not that noticeable. So that is equipment. And then lastly, also partners. Look at the difference here. We have right here our Lillian. Lillian gives plus 10%. As well as plus 10% times 3. Keep in mind, this is the level 1 partner, right? If you get a higher, these high, values increase. But really, really good for multiplicative people. And then what Westmacott has, on the other hand, is yes, a plus 25, but also a 10% multiplicative increase to the damage amount of combatant cards. Usually you're going to notice that 4-stars generally tend to only have more multiplicative effects, more additive effects, whereas a 5-star seems to have an additive and a multiplicative effect. Somebody that is pretty damn good though, and that we're just going to kind of throw in here at the end, just to talk about for the last part, is Eloise, right? Eloise, the psionic partner. Look at this. By 18%. By 21%. This is a 39% increase multiplicatively. So depending on the base, this is incredible. So I hope you were able to take something away from this. I hope you know now how to decide between the two, and I hope you will be able to deal the most amount of damage possible and judge your characters better from now.